Yes, sir. Welcome to another episode of the 116 Life right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, we're so happy that you're tuned in once again. If you're an OG listener, we appreciate you as always. And listen, if this is your first time listening, man, listen, welcome to the 116 Life. As y'all can listen right now, gotta tell y'all something. I'm holding it down solo. Much love to Ace, man. Ace could not make it this episode, man. It hurts our heart, man. Yeah. But listen, he sends lots of love, and we send him all the love right back. But listen, I'm solo, but I'm not solo.
Not really.
Okay, I'm really not solo. Okay, you know I gotta set everybody up for who our special guest is this week, yo. He really fam for real, okay?
Because of.
Listen, so he is one of the creator of one of my favorite projects, Super Duper Crunk Tape. He's the freshest, you know what I'm saying? You know, he's, he's just such a intentional, dynamic, unique creative. And listen, he's the freshest on fresh. And if you ever ask him, hey, yo, Wop, you made this? He did. You know what I'm saying? Show did. Listen, we got Scootie Wop with us here for the 116 Life. Scootie!
What's up, Cuzzo?
How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. It's great to be back in my home away from home. You know, Reach is like, they family. So be back in the studio after so long.
I feel that,
man. It feels super good. Yeah.
I'm so happy you're here. Yeah. So new year, we're in it, we're trickling into the new months of 2024. What is your focus on for 2024?
Focus for 2024 is honestly like growing my knowledge in God's heart this year. I feel like I've been given the platform to spread God's word and the good news. Yeah. But it's hard for me to put that message out there if I'm not really understanding the creator. So I've been tasked with absorbing more Christian content, books, podcasts, filtering my YouTube, even movies and TV shows. Now I'm trying to go more towards Angel Studios, where it's like I know that I'm getting something good in my system, and then I know music is that's my love. I know it's gonna be great, but it won't be nearly as good if I wasn't staying connected with God. So I'm reading that big Bible. I'm reading it on me. I keep it on me. It's in the bag right now.
I feel you. What are some things that you've been consuming, content wise, like you said, books and podcasts that have been really penetrating your heart recently? Yeah.
So number one, The Leader's Cut by Preston Morris. That's a big one. He's very relaxed, but he speaks with a lot of power and authority because he knows that it comes from God. I've been reading the book, The Awe of God by John Bevere, which is just talking about the fear of God is more than just reverence and a great respect, but it's actually that and coming to him and trembling and seeing his creation and recognizing the power that God has. It's I'm in awe of you. In the Bible, it says people couldn't even look him in the face in half of his glory. So seeing his full glory, all knees will bow. I'm not worthy of seeing. So that book has been really good. Music wise, I've been listening to a lot of the younger cats because I'm 25. So I feel like I'm a little bit older now. People like 404 Chew. You gotta have Breeze in there. We came up together.
As always, yeah.
Zaya Malik, he's really good.
Yeah, I was listening to West Side Nights too on the way over here.
Zaya's crazy.
Fire, yes.
Yeah, so just kind of hearing the hearts of the people around me too. I feel like the music space has been really good for that as well.
That's good, man. Yeah. So I feel like I gotta start off by saying congratulations. You know what I'm saying? There's been so many things that's been happening for you. One, being a newlywed. Congrats to you and your wife.
Lovely wife.
Lovely wife. And also, music and things like that, man. It's just been one thing after the other, the other. And it's so great being able to see you in this season. How has this season been like for you? Just going on that up road hill of success, genuinely.
It's been a lot of growing pains, honestly. Of course, if you look at just numbers, this past year was the biggest streaming numbers wise in my career. And it all felt good in the moment, but honestly, I felt a little hypocritical. Because it was at one point in the beginning of my career, when you hear Super Duper Crunk Tape and all of that stuff, it was genuine fun and it's the joy of the Lord. But now I got so consumed in, I just signed to a major label.
Facts.
So I need to give them strictly hits. So I might need to compromise my sound or put myself out there so much where it just didn't feel like me after a while. And I got towards the end of the year and it was hard to celebrate. Because it's like I'm telling people, you know, God is all you need and don't worry about the money and all of these things. But I was checking my DistroKid account like every day. Yeah. So it felt very hypocritical to act like I was like so holier than thou and, you know, people posting all this content, that ain't me. I'm not that guy. But I genuinely want to put out that stuff. And then when I did, it was like the algorithm is hitting. So I'm trying to post stuff where it'll catch. And then now it's more virality. You have one big viral moment and it's like you're trying to get that feel again. And that's why I felt like it was my downfall where I couldn't celebrate. But I got married and having somebody that's equally yoked, she pointed a lot of that stuff out. And it brought me back down to the humble place where I know I was supposed to be. So now I can enjoy it.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah. I'm thank you for sharing that because I think some people think on the outside looking in. I know I did. I'm like, yo, like it's just on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you were feeling low at that moment, but then like, thank God for your wife, man, for being able to shine let those things come out of you and spotlight those things is such a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So I love that for both of you being able to be in each other's lives. Okay, so man, Scootie, I feel like you're in such a pivotal time, I feel like, in your career because I know that you're making a lot of changes when it comes to like your music and your artistry and things like that. How did you like? What is it like going through a change of artistry? You know what I'm saying? Because or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or is it a change of artistry? Do you feel like it's like that at all, or is it just some insonics? Like, talk a little bit about the changes that you're kind of like shifting in for your career. Yeah,
so I feel like the change in artistry has been, of course, sonics. Like now I'm going more like gospel trap. The lyrics now are going to be more objective, you know, versus subjective, which is like subjective is just like your testimony and things like that, but objective is strictly and straight from the Bible. I feel like business wise, like now I'm actually starting to take that stuff serious. Like get your LLC.
What's that like?
Yeah, get an LLC.
The business side of things. Like
that. It's like it's taking pictures of all your receipts. It's reporting to somebody and knowing that your stuff is covered. You know, it feels good. Of course, the initial investment might not be what you think it should be. You're like, dang, I gotta pay $500-600, you know, just to keep something, you know, but it's all right because you lose a little bit in the beginning, but you gain so much more in the long run. So that's what it's been. Whether if it's clothing, you know, I might lose bread buying 50 pieces of clothes to sell, but the message got out there. And it's gonna last forever. But yeah, business wise, it's just going to people who've done it before you and like asking a bunch of questions, like and not hiding anything either. Like I'm gonna tell you, hey, my credit wasn't hitting right now, but it's good now. But like, credit ain't there, or I got this much in debt, and it's just opening all that up, being transparent. So it's been a great change.
I feel like it seems as if there's a lot of things behind the scenes and in the forefront that we're seeing in a change for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's you can even tell it in your persona and how you talk of how, honestly, genuinely, it takes a large amount of humility to say, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? To ask questions and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So I admire that in you, being able to be in the forefront in a new scenario around people who are in higher stature and things like that, but be able to be like, yo, can you put me up on game? You know what I'm saying? What is that like? You know, being able to just like, was there any hesitance to be able to ask those questions and things like that?
I guess it was like being around those people a little bit more made you a lot more comfortable with asking those questions. So even with God, don't take this out of context. Like, nobody is God, but with God, it's a lot easier to ask questions because we know his heart and who he is
Yeah.
versus should I ask this or should I not? So like being around other people like a KB or like Wes or my boy Made, who's been doing a lot of this stuff. It's like I've been around him and done life, you know, enough to where it's like I feel comfortable opening up and asking these questions. Like you can see everything, but it wasn't anything that like was a red flag. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, but I've seen them up close, so I trust you.
It's good having people like that in your corner.
Yeah.
Man. We can just be like so genuine with, and they can be able to give you all the help that you need.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like you have so many different parts of you in an artist sense, even a producer sense. Genuinely, I'm really curious to know who your influences are, who influence you musically, whether it's people you know, just like in your circle, or even just like in the music industry in general. Who influences Scootie Wop?
Okay. I think I'll do like the all around encapsulation. When I first came into, let me back, regular hip hop, right? Kanye West, sample chops, very authentic drums, soulful, big one. John Legend, vocals are silky.
Oh, whoa!
He's crazy.
I can see that with you.
I love John Legend. John Legend is dope.
Okay.
His music is dope. T-Pain.
See, I'm not gonna lie to you, Scootie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, if he don't say T-Pain, I'm gonna say it. Wow, bro.
Teddy P.
T deserves all his flowers. Now, man is a legend. Now, you know what I'm saying?
He's still doing it and having fun.
Yeah.
So like T-Pain is a huge one. I'll go Fred Hammond, which No Weapon remix was huge because I'm like, my mama played Fred out all day.
Man, between him and Kurt, they raised me.
Yeah.
Both
Kurt
of
really
them.
got it, yeah. But Fred did his thing, yeah.
People be I mean, don't get me wrong. Like people, like I feel like that versus battle we saw during COVID. You know what I'm talking about? That was legendary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people missed it.
And people. Who?
Yeah, a lot of people missed it.
If people missed that, they were asleep. Because I feel like that really reminds you. Of course, everyone knows Kirk because, like, you know, the mainstream pushes Kirk and things like that.
Yep.
But Uncle Fred, bro, Fred got
silky.
it on lock.
Fred silky. Who else is there? When I first came into the Christian space, when I gave my life to Christ in 19, 1K Few.
Okay.
1K Few in 217 actually dropped a song called God First. And I was like, this is crazy.
Bro.
So I didn't know Christian rap sounded like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm a lot younger, but 217, 1K Few, P-Son. P-Son had a song, Get the Bag, that we used to play in college. West End Shawty.
Yes.
West End Shawty had what was the song? When I think about Jesus and what he done for me. Yeah.
I just saw him in concert recently, so I know what you're talking about.
So West End super turned. Now I think it's like TJ Carroll, because he just talks about his life. Florida boy. Zaya Malik again. He's crazy. OK Warren, producer.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got them. Of course you got the Vert. Tame Impala.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a Kevin Parker. He's a guitarist / drummer.
Okay, dope.
Super dope. The Alchemist, producer.
Okay.
From, I don't want to get his area wrong. And then lastly, it's an artist named Bibio.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from the UK. So it's a lot of like underground indie ambient stuff, but yeah, that's kind of like my flavor pot right there.
Yeah, listen, I in this next segment, we're gonna dive more into like, I want to know more about like young Scootie, like early stages.
Yeah.
I know Scootie was cutting up. You ain't gotta tell me.
For sure.
But listen, we're gonna dive more into that when we get back. We're right here on the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And we're back here on the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 140. Listen, thank you for rocking with us. I got my cousin here on the air. I got Scootie Wop with me here. Listen, so we got to backtrack a little bit. Okay, so I want to know what life was for young Scootie Wop. I want you to take us back. I want you to talk about early childhood, what you were getting into, where you grew up, family life, all of that.
Yeah, so young Scootie, which was probably like 4 inches shorter than what I am now.
For real?
Bro, I'm like 5'2".
Okay, I believe you. I believe you then.
Young Scootie, I grew up in a military household, strictly Marine.
Ooh, what was that like?
My commissary.
Yeah.
You know, you would get the high and tight haircut. Couldn't grow your hair out past a certain length. And it was just, I don't know, it felt like a blur. Like military life, like seeing how we were on base, I felt like I was so disconnected from everything else.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As a kid, like, and I moved a lot too. So that's what made it so easy to network with people, is because I moved a lot.
Okay.
A whole lot. I was in Cuba, Jamaica, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Then after I graduated and didn't go to the armed forces, I still kept moving. So I went to Atlanta, and that's where I got saved, and then went back to South Carolina. Now I went to Florida, and we're in Toronto. So it's like, it did feel like I was, I don't know, like I had to like survive, because you don't know when you're gonna leave next or be stationed anywhere else. So it's like you got to make friends quick. I'm at hotels. You know, my mom would always joke, like, if you leave me at a hotel at a pool, you know, and there's other kids,
what am I supposed to
30 minutes, you gonna see me with a group of kids, like, yeah, these my friends, and we all having a good time.
Right.
And she was like, I'm like, it's the military life. We always move. I grew up Pentecostal. My mother and father were both in church. My father was next in line to be a pastor. He was an armor bearer for the pastor.
Oh, okay.
And what happened was, and I can't speak for him, but I saw a shift in my life when I was around 11, 12. Because my grandpa died when I was 8. Thurman Loftus Sr. He was like a really big pastor in North Carolina, in Jacksonville and in Raleigh. When he passed, I saw this separation of the family. Like everything just started. It was a domino effect. Yeah. Because when you have, usually hear like the praying grandma, right? But it was my grandfather that really brought everything together. So when he passed, I remember it being just like this shift, and church wasn't, really a thing anymore. I seen my parents split when I was 12, and if anything, we started going to church more, but I resented church more because my father was a leader in the church. So why should I serve a God that he serves and he will leave his family behind? And I was like, church ain't it for me, but I still went. I went until I can drive. Okay. So from like 12 to 15, I was in church 7 days out the week.
Sheesh.
You know what I'm saying? My mom was a youth pastor, so like she was really putting in that work to build this youth group up, and I just wasn't feeling it. So once I got old enough to drive, or I started playing sports, like I was just trying to get away from church. Yeah. I was tired. Like I'm seeing the big glory hallelujah on Sunday morning, and then I'm seeing the backsliding and the back talking behind people's backs and like a faithfulness that wasn't there after. Like it all felt like a show. So, I started gang banging at 12 too. You know what I'm saying? Or we say since day one. But at 12 years old, I linked with my older brother and really got into that side of that city. And once I could drive, I wasn't going to church. So I was out of church for like 7, 8 years.
Whoa.
Just living. You know what I'm saying? We'll pop out to the club super young, me and my boy. Double F, all the twins from Russian Ridgeland, everybody like that.
Everybody popped out.
Everybody popped out. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I'm just living lawless. Whatever I want to do, I'm doing it. And there's no fear at all in my heart. No mortality is kicking in. I'm not afraid of death because I ain't seen death. I seen death for the first time for real in 2015, going into 2016. Dominique was like my brother, like a little brother to all of us. He got killed on the beach at 8:15 p.m. and I have the tattoo on my arm. That's when life really started to kick in. I'm like, dang, you can really die. You can really die out here. So once he got killed, I went into my senior year playing football. We all dedicated the season to him. We went like, 14-1? So we went nearly undefeated.
Yeah, you know so y'all was it.
We was going crazy for bro, and it was only like the 5th game into the season. I broke my leg in the 6 different places, the left one. So I was at home. I missed a lot of my senior year. I was on the computer, on the laptop. I started taking a lot of the prescription meds heavily now. It's like, I feel good, but I just want to pop a perk now. You know what I'm saying? I just want to pop a Oxy right quick because it made me feel good. And that's where the drug abuse came in my senior year. From there, it was like downhill. I didn't hang out with none of my friends from school that I played sports with. I started hanging out with the real thugs, you know what I'm saying? Like I was out there for like a solid 2 summers, seeing people die left and right, shootings, people having seizures and dying in the trap, overdoses, car crashes. Like it was a lot, and I just got so numb. So it wasn't until I hit 19 where everything kind of shook back. You know, I found God because I went to a school in Atlanta. The school's not open anymore, but the church is still there. And I really gave God a chance, just 1 year. And that's all I needed. And I tried to get kicked out of that school too.
Why you try to get kicked
out? Because it felt so, I feel like Christianity for me, the way that I saw it, it felt so fake. Where it's like, everybody can't be this joyous. Everybody's like, we love you, bro. How can I help you? And they're always like, smile. I'm like, can you show me like the struggle and what's really going on? And it's like, no, these people really have the joy of the Lord right now. And they want to help, regardless of what your background is. But I wasn't ready for that. So I tried to get kicked out, whether if it was like, oh, I got caught with something, or I was trying to talk to girls, or man, I just need to stay home because I don't got the bread to come back to school. And it was like, no, like people were paying for me to stay at the school.
Oh, shut up.
So I'm like, okay, God, I got you. So I gave the rest of that year from November all the way to July, and I've been on fire ever since.
Sheesh, man. Whoa.
That was a mouthful.
What a story. Yo, I feel like you said a lot of good things with you talking just now. I'm thinking about, you said the hypocritical sense of church, what Christians, the mask that we all know. You know what I'm saying? Are you conscious of that now with who you are now, with I guess how the influence you have with people? You know what I'm saying? Like do you sense that a lot with those around you? Like do you repel that? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm curious to know how that, seeing those hypocrites and like that show affected who you are today, how conscious you are. Does that make sense? Yeah,
I got you. I'm very conscious now. Like even if it's shows that I do, I want to make sure if I can that I can stay after and talk to people. There's pros and cons to both sides. It's like if you leave too early, you seem Hollywood, and then now nobody wants to associate with you because you leave too early. Flip side, from a leadership perspective, let's say you just preached an amazing word. You just tore the house down. The spirit was so heavy, it manifested in that room. People were getting saved. People's, ailments were being healed. All of this stuff, confirmation, everything, the whole nine. You come off of that platform with this spiritual high, and now it's gonna feel like you're just receiving praise.
Yeah.
Man wasn't created to receive praise. You know what I'm saying? So it's a balance, and my wife has been helping me out a lot with that. But I'm very conscious. Like if somebody wants to talk to me, and it feels like a real conversation, and it's not just like, oh, let's snap a pic, we gotta work, and then they go. Like if you do that at a show, and you're watching this right now, I'm not looking at it as like a serious interaction. I wanna know who you are, why should we work, what are you about? So like I like to stay and talk if you really wanna talk about something. And if I don't know, I'm gonna tell you I don't know, but we can look it up. So I'm very conscious, and I'll tell my homies too. Like don't feel like you have to speak to everybody, but try to speak to somebody.
Yeah, that's
at least
real.
one person that you don't know. So I kind of get a little weird where I see somebody that kind of like me mugging, they don't say too much. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to him.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm done.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like before, it's almost like you have to earn somebody's respect or like their nod or their cosign. So rock out, go crazy for the Lord. And I'm like, I seen you in the crowd. I'm gonna talk to you after this. Now I know that your heart's a little bit more open. You know, you see that we really stepping for Christ. So,
I want to ask, if you don't mind me asking,
sure.
what attracted you at that time to want to be a part of a gang?
Whew. It was the sense of family, right? So a lot of people that grow up without their pops, and you know, mom was holding it down, and you're just like, I want brothers. You know, aside from sports, because you know that's just athletic ability that you made a team, and now all of y'all have to work together. But it's like, what is the common denominator to all of us that are in this situation? A lot of us grew up single parent homes. A lot of folks moved around a lot. I won't say I grew up in poverty. I would never say that. My mama did a great job. You know, she did what she had to do. But in my eyes, we had less than what I thought we should have.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you're just banding up with other people that feel the same. You know what I'm saying? It's a common interest. You just want to feel like you're a part of something. So that was the whole gang culture. I didn't want to intimidate nobody. I didn't feel threatened anywhere I went. Like, I done moved a lot, you know, military. So we could still get down, whatever. But it was just feeling like a part of something other than extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now looking back, like, what is going on?
But you know what's crazy is that that's what you wanted, was that sense of family, but then now you got Vert Mob. Shout out to the mob.
Yeah, shout out to the mob.
TJ Carroll.
Yeah.
God fearing,
Yep.
Big Breeze. I'll call him Bishop. I'm gonna say that
Bishop
all the
Breeze.
time. I call him Bishop Breeze all the time. Now you got that.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit off air about accountability and you having those things. What is it like now? What is it like having that brotherhood? But I love seeing y'all together. I love seeing y'all link. I love seeing y'all perform. It just seems so genuine and real. And then knowing that from your past, and now you have that. I know it's got to hold weight in your heart. What is it like having that? Having them as a brotherhood around you?
It's super dope. I feel like I wish we could get more of it because we're all in different places, right? So Breeze is in the A holding it down. God-fearing is in Ohio. Me and TJ actually stayed together for the last like year and a half.
Oh, bro.
So like we got super tight. Like
that's dope.
That's my boy, you
Yeah.
know. Shout out to Cherry Hills, everybody like that. So it's really good to have that accountability. Of course, at first, when you're trying to like correct each other, it kind of stings because you're like, I don't really know you like that, but we're a group, so I'm gonna let you speak into my life. It's been very tense moments where it's like we're not seeing eye to eye, or I don't see it that way. I don't think this is wrong. You're like, well, I think this is wrong. And there's been moments where like the group was almost done. You know what I'm saying? Like it was really like, let's hop on a call. We got to talk about some stuff and get right. So having that accountability, it does feel like having real brothers, because me and my older brother, we might not always agree on stuff, but it's super pure.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't trade it in for nothing in the world. And we always got room to grow. I feel like this year, me specifically, like maturing more, it's always gonna feel weird because I feel like I'm always the one that's like, hey, maybe we should try this. And I feel like the annoying little brother.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Like Breeze like the cool older brother. You know what I'm saying? T Carroll, he just bought business.
Yeah.
God fearing is like, whatever y'all on, I'm on. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to like think of different stuff, and sometimes I get ahead of myself where it may come off as I don't think this way is good or this way is right. Let's try this, but it's all a part of us growing. Yeah. So
man, listen, I love that. The fact that y'all are even able to correct each other. Because I was always told that if it's not as if of an argument, but if y'all get along all the time, somebody lying.
It's like somebody need to open something.
Someone
up.
needs, like, you know, someone needs to challenge something in you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy that y'all have that. Now, when we come back in this next segment, there are certain things that's happening in CHH that I want to ask you about.
For sure.
And then we're going to get more into the ghetto lullabies. 'Cause really, I got to talk to you about these ghetto lullabies. Okay, so we'll be right back here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Don't go anywhere. And we're back right here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. As y'all know, I got Scootie Wop here with me this week. All right, so there, of course, with you being in CHH, we talked about this last episode on 116 Live, and I'm really curious to get your take on it. Everybody saw in the space about I think Noel Miller and Cody talk about, they came across Christian hip hop, gave their opinions. Of course, the majority of it was negative and things like that, and everyone has their opinion on it. I'm really curious to what your take on it was when you saw it.
Yeah, so it's funny. I seen it because I was on the social media fast, so I wasn't even trying to be on the gram like that, but I had to post some stuff for like playlists. Shout out to Fast Break because they were the ones that actually
Fast Break killing it. Yes, for
killing
sure.
it. Shout out to Dion. Like if you know, you know. But when I seen it, nothing in me was like, oh, this is like it's like chew the meat and spit out the bones. When they talk about this pick me culture, we all know Christian hip hop and Christian music is very hot right now. When it comes to content that's being posted, it seems like Instagram is just pushing it.
Yeah, Ace was talking about that. Like the algorithm is on our side.
Yeah, it's on our side for it. So it's like now that everybody is seeing that, it's like the way I feel about it is, man, how would I word this? Them saying like, oh, it's corny and stuff like that, that's all opinionated. If you feel like Christian hip hop is corny, that's on you. But we got substance, we got truth. Is there some Christian hip hop that doesn't have substance and it's more so, yeah, this is what I'm doing, da 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 da. Yeah, it's that everywhere. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say it's not. Like, it's definitely a standard that needs to be elevated. When you hear people like Sho Baraka, or you hear KB and you hear like the Derek Minor speak on the space of Christian hip hop and where it can be, and you hear people talk about the golden years and you got cross movement and everything. When I go back and listen to that stuff, even though it may seem dated now because we're, that was years ago. Yeah. So we're not gonna go completely back to that. But you hear the lyricism, it's gospel. It's really gospel.
It is.
So I feel like that is one area that can be improved. But as far as like content, I do think we can be more creative. You know what I'm saying? Like short form content is what's being consumed a lot right now. You look at like a Nick D, where it's like he's very it's very natural, very authentic, puts his phone up and he records and it goes crazy, but people are loving who he is and that it's really him. I feel like when you look at the captions, I will agree that the captions have been recycled.
We've been using them a lot.
Yeah, it's the same. It's almost the same one. It's Christian. And if somebody uses this clip and puts their video after it, it's gonna prove my case. It'll always be like, is Christian hip hop evolved? That's true. Right. Like, I don't gotta ask that question. Like, we know what's up. So it's like we gotta try different things. Like, we know what works, but let's take what works and actually make it personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did your mind think when you wanted to write this caption? The style that you wanted to shoot it in, the angle that you chose to use, or is it just cut, copy, and paste because it works for them? Like, we serve a God who wants to create moments with us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For us to limit the creativity that he has given us by just, that's it. I'm not gonna waste that. I can't. So maybe that's been why it's so hard for me to put out a lot of content, because on one side you don't want to be like the mysterious artist and I'm Kendrick Lamar right now, so I'm gonna post one time and leave, and that's all you gonna get. And then when I drop, I drop. And everybody gonna go crazy. Kendrick can do that, but he can. At some point he was in people's faces, and I like the fact that Christian hip hop is being pushed into people's faces. But let's just get a little more creative with what we're saying, and it's not always going against like the 21 Savage. Like, if I was a Christian rapper, like, would I have any fan? Probably not. And then video pops up. Just me personally, I feel like, oh my gosh, it can just be a lot more creative. Like, I really want to challenge people to be creative, not only in the content but the music that's being put out. With Ghetto Lullabies, I'm tired of people saying like, oh yeah, I like Raw Wave, so this can be my replacement for Rod Wave. I'm like, I don't want to be a replacement. You know what I'm saying? And Rod is dope, but
you want to be you.
Yeah, I want to be me for sure. So it's like I'm trying to mix it up and switch the beat choice out so that it's not too similar. The lyrical content, you know what I'm saying? What we're talking about, how deep are we getting into our lives? And is it pointing back to the throne at the end of this song.
At the end of the day. Now, you brought something up that I have to talk about, and surprise, this is interrogation. Okay?
Yep.
So you dropping these ghetto lullabies. And we ain't getting. I know you got them. I'm just I'm speaking on behalf of the Star Baby family.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want you to know that we ready whenever you ready. Okay. But I am curious for real about this. So what inspired the name Ghetto Lullabies?
Ghetto Lullabies.
You know.
Ghetto, like it. I don't want to put a actual definition on ghetto. But it's like, I know that this music probably will be mainly played in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? In them places that feel like Sodom and Gomorrah. That feel like we not trying to go in there. We like, we're called to be a light, but let's just hang out in this room with a bunch of other light bulbs. Like, I don't want this music to be played there. I want it to be played in the true, actual darkness, so that you could tell that something's being illuminated, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so ghetto and lullabies is like, I want my kids, whenever they get here, Leilani, if you see this years down the road, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want her to hear this project, and it's like, it soothes your soul. Like, if the calamity and everything like that, or anxiety is great within you, like, one, go to the Bible, but two, like, you can listen to this project and feel heard. You can feel like nurtured. You can feel cared for. So ghetto lullabies, that's just what it is. It's also like a not a death to the old Scootie.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna ask you that next. This is a genuine. I mean, of course, all the questions I've asked have been genuine, but because you have no idea how much I played Super Duper Crunk Tape. I'm not lying to you. So I knew that you were in this new season, and I love everything you've been putting out and everything you've been teasing. I was like, man, like, are we not gonna get any more of that? Like, is it just gonna be Ghetto Lullabies? We'll never get anything like a Super Duper Crunk Tape. Will we not get a freshie anymore? You know what I'm saying? Can you speak to that a little bit?
I ain't about to limit God. I'll definitely pop back out to like another Crunk Tape. Like, I got some beats for Super Duper Crunk Tape too. It's just like, I haven't gotten to record on them. Like, I've made them. They're on a computer, but I haven't recorded on them. Wow. Yeah, right now it's just I'm in that mode where I want to talk for real to somebody. Like, the beats ain't gonna be super crunk. You gonna have to listen. Yeah, it might just be a piano, and I'm just rapping.
So that would be so fire.
Yeah, the intro is just a piano, so it's like you have to listen to every word that's being said. But nah. Crunk Scootie not done. Okay. The Rage Scootie hasn't even popped out yet, but like,
for real?
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Yeah, Star Baby Worldwide is really like,
Okay, so I want to talk about that too, because I feel like you created this, I don't even want to say fandom, but just like this community of people. So let's talk about even just what Star Baby Family is.
Yeah, so Star Baby Family, it's based off the scripture Psalms 147:4. Where it says, he who counts the stars and he calls them each by name. And it basically expounding upon that, it's talking about like the uniqueness in how you were made, and not seeing yourself as another star just in the sky somewhere. But like us coming together, really forming these constellations and seeing beautiful things, not feeling overlooked and underbooked, but truly value who you are. Like, God valued just as much as he valued Jesus, and he sent his son to die on the cross for you so that you can live, eternally. Like, our value is the same as Jesus. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So for anybody that's looking at themselves like, whatever I do doesn't matter, it's gonna go under the radar. Like, no, you were on that same level as Jesus, and God sent his son to die for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the overall prowess. As far as like the design work, I want it to be simple. That's the baby part where it's like a kid would see this. That's like, oh, look at, like, So just being integrated with both the old and the young, and the people who felt like outcasts, and the people who felt like they weren't heard, and the people who are very vocal, like, let's just all come together and do something great. So that's the Star Baby Worldwide essence. It branches off. Like, we'll do artist development, you know what I'm saying? Like A&R work. We got fashion and streetwear.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to you about that because like when it comes to the apparel, you also have SBF Radio, which I think is so fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what made you want to start with those two? With the music hub and then also with fashion.
Fashion, I felt like, and this is no diss to like any Christian apparel brands, you know what I'm saying? But when I talked to my boy Elias Vargas, his mind is great. It's amazing. He studies stuff and really understands like fashion, but also like the ethos, the original stuff. You know what I'm saying? What is your ethos? So what I saw a lot in the Christian side was scripture, block font.
Bro, talk about it.
Cross. And it's gonna sell.
It is.
It's gonna sell. Like, so at one point I'm like, man, I might as well just sell this because everybody's gonna eat this up. Jesus loves me. Shout out to Jesus Loves You though, by the way.
They're
like,
fire.
I rock with them. Yeah. But it's like I didn't want to be like put myself in a box. So I made something that was strictly streetwear based off of skater fashion. Oversized, grungy, bright, like you'll see it from a mile away. So that was like why I wanted to go that route. My wife is helping me because now I got like the canvas bags that are coming out, the plushies.
Sheesh.
Yeah, like it'll be a star plushie that's on the way. Yeah, we got stickers, all that good stuff, the packaging. I just wanted to take a chance. Like God really put it on my heart. And then SBF Radio, I felt like I wasn't showing enough love to other artists that weren't like my peers are on the same level in a sense. But it's like my way of saying, I see you. Like you can submit your stuff through a Google form and I gotta check it today, matter of fact.
Yeah.
But I hear your music and you don't have to pay $1.
We
gotta
need more
pay
of
nothing.
that, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to put together music. Of course it's my taste, but like it's a lot of new people on there, you know, so I just wanted to give that platform to other artists that are coming up. Rather than folks that see me at a show and they're like, oh yeah, check out my music, this, that, and the third, we gotta work. I'm like, how about you just send me your music and I could put it on a platform that I'm pushing, you know? So that's the whole thing behind SBF.radio. If we can get on actual radio one day.
Insane.
I'm seeing it. I believe it.
What else do you have planned for Star Baby Family? Like I know you said A&R, you said artist development. What other things do you want to do?
So A&R, artist development, the fashion apparel is a huge thing. I want to do not concerts, but like kickbacks. So like folks pull up, you know, it's good food. You know, people can share their music around. It's literally just them showing up. We'll have the apparel and stuff there, pieces that haven't been dropped yet. All right, just come here, get some contact information and just chill, you know. We can have conversations and do like podcasts, you know what I'm saying? Like the SBF podcast with like an artist, a producer, a graphic designer, a clothing designer, somebody that I just know off the street, you know, just like getting big perspective. Like I don't see the limit on where it can go, which is crazy because before I'm like, I don't want to put together like my own community. Like I felt like it was super hard. Like you got HGA, that's huge. And it's a comparison thing. Like if you're gonna look at everybody else's, you look at the Glow Nation and all of those things, of course you're gonna get discouraged, but they've been putting in that work and the time. So it's like, oh, I should do this.
Yeah. Is it as hard as you thought it was gonna be?
No. Yeah. Not at all. I was like, man.
That's why it was mental.
Yeah,
you know
it's just mental.
Yeah.
Like the hardest thing to do is to start. So once you do that, like once you start, you're good.
It's up from there.
Yeah, just take time to like read books and watch YouTube videos and all of that good stuff. Like it's not as hard as what we think it is.
I'm so happy that not even just seeing in a music sense, but you're in such a, I feel like a soaking, like you're like just like soaking everything up, you know, and it's like in everything you're doing, the conversation we just had, things like that, it's just coming out of everything you're doing. And you talked about SBF Radio and then of course like, you know, the apparel and just all the future things you have planned. It's evident that it's music, but it's also so much more. Yeah. I'm curious if you ever thought about like what you want your legacy to be.
Okay, legacy. I guess we would go with like the mission statement. My mission statement was always to be the people's champ, where you look at wrestling. I don't know if you've watched like WWE wrestling, but for all my WWE heads, the people's champ was Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
So everybody knows The Rock.
Yeah.
But it was like when he won, it felt like everybody won. You know what I'm saying? He kept everybody included. And that's what I want the legacy to be, is that I was inclusive. I never looked at your status to see if you were worthy to do anything. I wanted to pour in more than I got, you know what I'm saying, from others. And it's like a Pay It Forward. It's a movie called Pay It Forward, where it was this kid that did like a good deed and he died in the movie. But what he did was remembered forever, and people just kept giving and giving and giving, you know, beyond themselves. So I just want to be somebody that gives like my time, and people remember me as somebody that like he took the time to just hear me out. You know what I'm saying? And he gave what he had. May not have been all that I needed, but you know what knowledge he had, he would give to me, or the clothes off my back. You know what I'm saying? Anything like that. So I feel like I want that to be the legacy. I feel like it's gonna mature a little bit more, because I turned 25, so my prefrontal cortex is like finally complete.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got a little more time, you know, 27, 28, for it to really click.
Yeah.
But yeah, for right now, we'll see in a couple years when we play this back.
Listen, when we play this back, it's gonna be a legendary thing, man. Thank you for being on the show. Give everyone your social media, for those who don't know, how they can follow you, keep up with you.
You can follow me on Instagram at Scootie Wop, SCOOTIE WOP. Facebook, same thing, Scootie Wop. YouTube, Scootie Wop. What else? Twitch soon. SBF. I gotta set that up, but that won't be here yet. What else? You can StarBabyWorldwide.com. You know what I'm saying? You can go there. You know, we got your emails and everything like that. Or you might just see me on your local street serving. For real.
Listen, man, I'm so happy that y'all were able to be tuned in and introduced, or even learn more about the legend in the Mech, and that is Scootie Wop. And I'm so happy you were here with us, bro. Listen, shout out to everyone that was tuned in. Thank y'all for tuning in once again to another episode of the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. We'll see you guys next week.
Next week.